Argonauts of When the Sun and the Moon Fell in Love advanced. How do you feel? Oh, we've been thinking for years about doing a workshop about relationship, love, all of that juicy stuff, and we finally did it. What was the Sun and the Moon Fell in Love workshop like for you guys?
It was cool learning a lot about parenthood and learning about how to in your partnership, have a happy partnership, but also how to raise happy children. And the idea of children seemed like a lot of unknowns. How to do this, how to do that, and really it came down to some kind of like simple principles of living life kind of on your terms and having the kids adapt to the parents, as opposed to being like really needy parents that are doing everything for their children and everything like that, because it creates an environment like that where the kids are anxious, needy, and all that, versus kids that are like strong and happy. That was amazing, and yeah, I was expecting that to be quite a long portion of the workshop, but it was a surprisingly simple, very easy to understand, and somewhat short part of the workshop, and that was really cool. And after having that section of the workshop, I feel super confident for having children, so that was cool.
For me, the coolest part of the workshop was also learning about parenting. I'm about to embark on parenthood as well, like very soon, and it was an incredible experience. Like, we really experienced what it would be like to have a child and go through all of these different situations that might be difficult, and really feel what would be the best outcome for ourselves and our child in that. And it came down to like this like beautiful track of, if you want to show your kid how to have a happy life, you have to be happy. You have to be a happy example for them to follow. So I was like super happy to find that out. It feels a lot easier just knowing that's all I have to do. Yeah, that was one of the coolest things for me.
Yeah, I want to share one of the coolest things for me about this workshop. Well, the biggest thing was that Jeff and I got married. That was a great way to end the workshop. And then aside from that, I think the coolest thing for me was learning more about alliances. Because this relationship was not just about love, or this workshop was not just about love relationships, it was also about friendship and alliances, and feeling who is on your side as well, which is different than who is your ally, and really distinguishing these different flavors of relationship. And Jeff and I decided to partner with the great Marlon and Spiro. And it's so cool because everything is like, you can make alliances in so many ways. And to go into this workshop, feeling like, oh, it's just Jeff and I, we're going to start a family, we have this plan. To go from that place to realize, oh, we're actually going to start families with another family and work together to make it as easy and fun and, exciting as possible. That was such a cool shift in my mind. And I realized, oh my gosh, so many people in the world are doing this all alone. Like, they're alone with their kids, they're stressing out, and it's just so cool to realize we don't have to do these things alone, and that we can all win together. It was amazing.
Hey, so for me, one of the wow moments was when the concept of winning was reintroduced. Nikki said that the biggest fallacy is to think that when you win, someone else has to lose. And for me, that was very impactful, because in the container of relationships, how could I ever win if I think that my husband is losing? And the same is the opposite. How can he ever win if he thinks that I am losing? that should not be possible, that should not be happening. So we were taught a very clear process on how do we maximize the win. So every time I win, he is winning, my allies are winning, and we're winning big. So that was really fun.
Standout moment for me was definitely when I got engaged with Origin. Fucking awesome. Plenty more, like plenty more. It's just like almost endless, you know. Every day there was another one. Yeah, that's like right, for sure.
I'd like to say something that hit me like on the early days like of the workshop, like starting off, where I realized that like we all went together and we move forward together. And whoever's having trouble and they need like help moving out of it, like it's to the benefit of everyone, like to try like to help them out of it and move them along, because that's how we get like deeper and deeper and get more like a material out of the workshop as well. So that was like a very powerful like insight that, you know, like no matter what, like we're in this spaceship together, and yeah, no man left behind.
Was like that.
Yes, I think the big part of the workshop was experiential. That's why it's so difficult to really tell everything that has happened, because some of these experiences almost cannot be conveyed in words. But I can just say that so many things has happened that were so powerful. The practical things about parenting and about winning, how to form alliances, is definitely enhancing our abilities when we leave here today. So it was an amazing experience.
And also the ceremonies in this workshop were just like beyond, like they just took us to so many deep, incredible places that left us like shocked, and I honestly don't even know what to say about them other than they were. Like, he explained so much just through giving us a ceremony about it, and we sort of understood everything about that topic. And then you get a bit more the next day, but yeah, it was really powerful.
For me, a lot of the power in this workshop was we had this concept of wearing a clear mask, like a mask of trust, and really revealing ourselves. And that was quite early on in the workshop, and I felt like everyone really got inspired by each other wearing this clear mask and like daring to expose themselves. So we're talking about things that maybe we're ashamed of, or that are darker parts of ourselves that we haven't explored. And the more we saw each other daring to do that, we were really inspired to go there ourselves as well. So for me, a lot of that power came from this trust within the group, and like us really wanting to be on this train together, and us like really pulling each other up. Because the more we showed of ourselves, the more we could do the work and like learn about ourselves, but the more we could also feel how much we're the same. And that for me was like one of the biggest gifts of this workshop, that like if I feel awkward or something, like I know that someone else is feeling a bit awkward about something, and like I never have to be alone. So yeah, it was powerful in a very human way for me. Yeah.
The other thing too is we really dive deep into vision, and it was really cool because like for us, for example, we've like spoken about like maybe one day we could live with some like Argonauts that we like, and it was this like thing that we never made clear or really explored. And so yeah, like we really went deep into creating a vision, but also seeing how to get there and choosing it. So yeah, that was super, super powerful.
I feel like I want to say that my last workshop was 5 years ago, and it definitely gets like more and more refined and pretty like wild. Like it's crazy. Like it's crazy how Mickey's just is like constantly leveling up, because like that workshop 5 years ago like blew my mind and was like super impactful, but this one was like beyond what I could have ever expected. And yeah, it's definitely, just to speak to the fact that it is super intense, but like the more intense it is, like the more juice you can get out of it and go back into the world. And I really feel it's such a gift. Such a gift.
And just to speak to the heavy duty side of it, I think the reason why it's like heavy duty is because the workshop's all about choice, and it's the kind of workshop where you're there to actually make choices and actually make changes and not just talk about it or think about it and think like, oh yeah, that's kind of scary, maybe I'll do that one day. It's about getting yourself to a place where you're actually going to make the choices that are going to change your life and change areas of your life. So I think that's why, because a lot of those choices that are good for us can be really scary, or you've got to dare and you've got to push through some stuff. And you know, if you were doing that on your own, you'd already be doing that and making those changes in your life. So to have an environment and to have like people around you that love you, can help facilitate and help you with those choices, I think is the reason why it's intense, but also the reason why it's so valuable.
And as well, Mavis is so precise. So like you're coming here and you're going through this process, but it's with someone who is so clear and can really help you to see your blind spots and see where you're having a challenge, or somewhere where you can overcome something and jump and make like massive beneficial changes in your life. So you're coming, it's intense, you're looking inside yourself, but you're in an environment where it's very clear and beneficial, and like you can trust the process, and we're like there together, and you see as everyone's going around that it's like amazing stuff that they're working on. And when it gets to you and you go into a place where you like can't see your own blind spot, you can trust the group, you can trust Mekas, and yet it can be challenging, but it's like for the best thing and like for the best direction of your life. Yeah. I've never experienced everyone doing their 1-year plan, and every single one was like so inspiring. Like amazing lives, amazing plans. Some of us are moving countries, doing lots of cool things, but yeah, it's like everyone was like full of vision, full of life, like going for it. It was really cool. Yeah.
Casey, what the hell's going to change in your life, man?
Well, let's just say that I'll be shopping for a room today.
I'd like to say that everything is changing in my world. And I would say that the most influential thing that happened for me was finally not just intuitively understanding, but feeling what surrendering in your feminine means. It's been about 7 years since I've embarked on this path of opening to myself and my heart. And in this workshop, actually doing ceremonies and exercises where I was able to fully feel that surrendering doesn't mean just sitting back and doing nothing, which is what I believed prior to this workshop. So it was very confusing to me, but actually learning that it's not a passive role, it's an active role, and it's just the energy that you go about it in. And now I'm like, fuck, it's so clear. I'm like super excited to go back and be able to, like, it's gonna change my entire life with my man, with everything. So yeah, and big changes, gonna go back and going for babies and going for everything now, and really feeling who I was 9 years ago when I first came to TierraMitica, like fully going into a ceremony and being that version of myself where I was actually called Jack because I was such an alpha male and like in this like butch role in my life. And then fast forwarding, like slingshotting to the present and fully feeling who I am now. And like, wow, like just like I'm a woman and I still have things to work on, but it's like, yeah, I'm just super proud of myself, and this workshop is really, again, has changed everything. So.
And I just want to say, for my experience, when I lived here 9 years ago, and I found my power inside, and I lived as Napoleon the Great, and I would boss everyone around, and I would say anything I wanted, and I was awesome. And then I betrayed myself many years ago, and I've spent like 5 years living as like a super victim and like worry and panic and anxiety and fear. And this workshop was really powerful for me because it's the first time I like claimed that Napoleon back, that like that is who I am and that is my direction and my path, and that that's me no matter what. And this is the first workshop that I'm leaving still feeling like stuff coming in, but just like choosing like my tool was like, fuck that, I'm not talking about it, and like it will fuck off eventually. So yeah, like it was a huge workshop for me, like huge workshop for me, and I'm super, super glad that I came.
I came here as a super nasty, hard, closed, mistrustful bitch. And it's something that I have been battling with for a really, really long time. I've been able to like kind of diminish this thing, but this workshop, I fully felt her and fully, she's over here. She's over here and she's not coming back. So this was the biggest workshop of my entire life. And yeah, I feel really held and supported by my family here. You can hug me and love me and also make sure that that part of me doesn't come back. It's like not acceptable now. So yeah, just feeling into my new, I feel like I'm a whole new person, feeling angelic and sweet. Yeah, very grateful.
We moved to Australia.
What's that?
About you moved to Australia.
And we're moving to the land down under. Plot twist.
Well, regarding relationship, we've gone to quite a few workshops, and the relationship every time has improved exponentially, like just eliminating many problems completely and seeing many things inside the world with friends and family, and seeing their problems, and like how people argue and things, and we just don't have that anymore. We really don't have that anymore. And already, and then now, what I feel, what also came in so much is that, at least for me, to come to this place that I really don't need anything anymore. I'm just so happy and so I don't with my relationship, and it's just perfect, and we'll keep growing, and that's part of it. But I got everything I need, and I'm super in love, and so for the relationship part. This is what sounds like a fairy tale story, but I'm living it. So.
For me, this whole journey of becoming one with somebody has been the most wild ride, I think, in my life, because I used to be very scared and very much alone. And it was unfathomable for me that I would ever choose to become one with someone else. That seemed like a scary thing. And then just to open my heart to somebody that I met at platform 9 3/4, and then just fully going for it and trusting that when I open my heart to merge with someone, to become one with someone, that it's actually gonna make me more and not less. Yeah, that has been the most eye-opening thing ever. And yesterday we got married, and just after the ceremony, for the first time I understood, okay, this is what it means to be one with, because everything else just disappeared. It was just
Ariella and me in this bubble, and nothing else mattered. And I could hold my focus for hours on end without letting anything destroy my absolute bliss. So if anybody wonders what it's like to become one with and if it's worth it, it absolutely is.
For me, one thing I'm realizing more and more, and I didn't want to really look at it, was how if it's my fault, I'm powerful. And I thought I understood, and I was still pushing it aside, not having really what I wanted, and thinking that it's not because of me, but it's everything is external. So either I have to change person with, or change job, whatever, or change friends. And I realized we were just speaking with this before, like there's this word forever, and I would never let myself have a forever. It's like, because I was also not making the choice to change a thing that maybe I didn't like, or if I wanted something, to actually make it my fault so I can have it. What are the steps to get there? And then have the life that I really want to have. And I was always looking outside at the stories and then saying, I cannot have this. I remember watching the Titanic in my basement and crying, like, oh, I cannot have this love story, for instance, which is like super boring, but it's a bit what Jackie was saying about going for your life is not passive at all. Like, it's not something that just happens and then you are blissed. It's making all the little steps. And if you go back into your life, like if I go back to where I came from, like sometimes I don't acknowledge it, but I did make like lots of little steps. And I can keep making more and more and more. And in the workshop, like sitting around and watching everyone making these choices and taking responsibility, like even if it's hard, like, fuck, like, oh, I do that, but I want to change this. I want to go forward. And it's going to be a journey. It doesn't happen necessarily like this, which is great. I can enjoy the ride. It's also one thing I learned in this workshop, like the deliciousness of every little moment. So yeah, I'm super grateful, and I'm just excited to have more things being my fault, which is everything. And we are moving here to TierraMitica, and this is awesome. Yeah. One beautiful thing that I felt, and it's talking about allies, is that there would have been a time where I would be jealous of everyone else's visions and comparing myself, wanting to have what they have. Now I realize, no, I'm choosing for myself. This is the life I want, and I'm actually winning with others because I felt it, like everyone's vision is just so fantastic and exactly what they want, and I'm like, fuck yeah, like this is a win for me too, and everyone else is winning, and the energy is leveled up. So,
I think lots of you guys have people in your lives that aren't quite taking that step that Ruth was talking about making choices and taking responsibility. What would you say to those people? The people that are maybe just a couple of steps away from taking charge of their life, maybe doing a workshop. What would you say to them?
I would say never be scared of your greatness, because I think mostly people are just scared to find out what they're actually made of, and they feel like there's all these dark parts of them that nobody should ever see because it's somehow shameful. But then when you finally speak about it, when you finally acknowledge it, it just becomes nothing. It just becomes this thing that I was, and now it's out in the open. I don't need to worry about it, and I can actually become great. And yeah, I see people, a lot of people that have these dreams and visions, and I used to be the same as well,
but never really taking the steps to get there. And yeah, just trust that whatever is in you, there's absolutely nothing there that you have to be scared of. Because it's already inside of you anyway, and it's taking charge in ways that you don't realize when you don't take a look. Because the monsters are there, you just won't look at them. So they keep running the show. And once you start looking, you actually find out these monsters are very nice pets.
Yeah, and I can speak to my process as well. Before I did the first workshop, I was quite worried that I would have to make like a hard choice, and I would make the wrong choice for myself. And it was like very empowering to find out that when it came time like to make like a big decision or to push through some fear or some insecurity, especially in the environment that is created in the workshop, it becomes quite intuitive that you don't want to shoot yourself in the leg. So there's trust in myself that actually, okay, like I've gone through this test, and I've kind of like now I have the reassurance that I know that I'm someone that, if I know the right choice and it's in front of me, I'm gonna make it. While before I felt this fear that, like I was gonna like run the other way and fuck shit up. And you never know until you try. And that was like very, very, very peaceful, like feeling that I did.
I guess what I would express to people who are hesitant about making the big choices to move forwards, it's this concept that Mickey teaches that people regret the things they don't do and not the things they do. And that's something I've experienced a lot of. And regret is something that's really hard to shake off once it builds up and it sneaks up on you. You know, years of passivity and kind of numbing yourself with all the comforts of the modern world. And it's not worth it to kind of hide away and let that happen. It's better to stay out ahead of it. Don't let the regrets build up. Face your fears right away. Make the choices. Keep moving forwards. And that's how you live a mythic life. And it's so much better.
I want to say that in this workshop, I finally learned to make choices for myself and my happiness and be selfish for what it is that I want in my life. And so I would just say to everybody, like, don't be scared to be selfish and make those choices for you, because I'm so fucking happy. And it took me a long time to just find this place of choosing me, and I'm really proud.
You know what? I think that's a wonderful place to say the only thing that's left to say.